Parties and civil organizations disappointed over MKP's John Hlophe election to JSC. The Democratic Alliance DA, Freedom Front Plus, FF Plus, and African Christian Democratic Party ACDP and Judges Matter are among organizations who came out guns blazing without a blink, suggesting the National Assembly made a flop by electing impeached Judge John Hlophe to serve in the Judicial Service Commission (JSC). The House passed a motion during a sitting of the House in Cape Town, Western Cape on Tuesday. Judges Matter Research and Advocacy Officer Mbekezeli Benjamin said they were disappointed by the National Assembly's choice to appoint MPs with a history of misconduct as members of the Judicial Service Commission and Magistrates Commission. According to Benjamin, the decision to appoint the likes of Hlophe and Faith Muthambi undermined the credibility to the commissions and the integrity of the judiciary. Hlophe was impeached earlier this year after Parliament voted in favor of the motion. About 305 members voted in support, while 25 voted against his removal. He was the first judge to be impeached since democracy. In 2008, Hlophe faced accusations of trying to sway the Constitutional Court's ruling regarding the Scorpions search and seizure operations on the assets of French arms manufacturer Tint and Jacob Zuma. He was then found guilty of gross misconduct by the Judicial Services Commission (JSC). Former Communication Minister Muthambi was exposed by Gupta leak reports for sharing secret cabinet details with the Gupta family. Benjamin said the Parliament decision is also contrary to the spirit, support, and object of the Constitution. It is plainly irrational in relation to the injunction by the Section 165 subsection 4 of the Constitution, which requires that Parliament takes measures to protect the independence and dignity of the courts, he said. He added, "It is cruel irony that aspirant judicial officers will be assessed on their ethics, integrity, and fitness for judicial office by commissioners who themselves have been found guilty of misconduct." Judges Matter reiterates our call for a written code of conduct for all commissioners with a mechanism to recall those commissioners who do not uphold the terms of the code. Reacting to the matter, the DA said it was neither reasonable nor rational to elect Hlophe as a representative of the National Assembly of the JSC. The DA argued and stated reasons why the matter should be debated longer than today, on Tuesday. Some of the reasons are as follows. It is a matter of public report that Dr. Hlophe lost the status as a judge of the High Court in South Africa as a consequence of a finding of gross misconduct by the Judicial Services Commission. The second reason why Parliament should not elect Dr. Hlophe is to be found in the constitutional obligation which we as members of the National Assembly enjoy to assist and protect the judiciary in order to ensure its independence, impartiality, dignity, and effectiveness. According to the DA, this poses the risk of paralyzing the JSC and trying it up in endless review proceedings. Meanwhile, parties like the ANC, EFF, PSC, Al-Jamaa, and ATM support the election of Hlophe to the body. MKP's Dr. Hlophe secures seat on the JSC, Parliament approves. Impeached Judge President Dr. Hlophe John was officially elected to represent the National Assembly on the Judicial Service Commission (JSC) on Tuesday. He was nominated during a sitting of the House in Cape Town. The House passed a motion after his party, Umkhonto weSizwe MK Party, nominated him to be part of the body. Parties including the African National Congress ANC, Economic Freedom Fighters EFF, Al-Jamaa African Transformation Movement ATM, as well as the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania PSC, supports Hlophe's nomination. The ANC said the Constitution and the rules of the National Assembly did not say what qualifications an MP needed to sit on the JSC, so they supported the motion. Mbekezeli Benjamin, the newly elected chief whip of the ANC, stated that the long-standing tradition of political parties being able to appoint their own representatives to the JSC must be honored until there are modifications made to the rules and constitution. This is after the ANC withdrew its motion last week, saying the matter needed thorough discussion. The MK party's parliament leader, Hlophe, will join the likes of the EFF leader Julius Malema, Action SA National Assembly leader Hlophe Hlophe, the ANC's Molapi Lekhanyane, and Fasiha Hassan, and the Democratic Alliance DS MP Glenis Breitenbach in overseeing judicial conduct. Meanwhile, the DA, Freedom Front Plus, FF Plus, and African Christian Democratic Party, ACDP, objects to the nomination, saying it was illegal and not recommended for a judge who was being impeached to serve on the JSC. According to the DA, the EFF and MK parties wish to tear down the independent judiciary, which the DA works to protect. This is a clear conflict of interest and an attempt to undermine the independence of the judiciary of South Africa. Persons elected to represent the National Assembly of the JSC must hold such values, which cannot be said for Hlophe, he said. The DA said this was a risk to the JSC processes for the elections of judges and their investigations into the judges' conduct, endangering the rule and law in South Africa and to proper functioning of the judiciary. Impeached Judge Hlophe elected to serve on Judicial Services Commission. Former Western Cape Judge President John Hlophe will serve as a representative of Parliament on the Judicial Service Commission JSC. Hlophe's name was among the 6 MPs elected by the National Assembly. The motion on the election of JSC representatives was withdrawn last week to allow consultation among political parties. On Tuesday, the chief whip Mbekezeli Benjamin tabled the motion among all with others when the sitting got underway. Hlophe, who is MK party's MP, who nominated along with the ANC Soviet Lakwanyane and Fasiha Hassan, the DA's advocate Glenis Breitenbach, EFF leader Julius Malema, and Action's SA Hlophe Hlophe. When the National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza asked if there were objections to their nominations, DA Chief Whip Michael Michalakis raised an objection to Hlophe's inclusion and asked to make a declaration. After parties made their motivation on whether they supported Hlophe's nomination or not, the matter was put to a voice. Only the DA, Freedom Front Plus, and the ACDP voted against, with some parties in support and others voting their views on his suitability. With those objections, the more is carried. This brings an end to our sitting, Didiza said. Hlophe became the first judge in the history of South Africa to be impeached by Parliament after the JSC found he's guilty of gross misconduct. He was impeached earlier this year after he lost a court bid to interdict Parliament from considering his removal from office pending a court case he launched in the Constitutional Court. Hlophe was accused by Constitutional Court justices of attempt to influence that court's judgment in the matters involving former President Jacob Zuma in 2008. And that's it from Egypt's Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.